Hey everyone, welcome to Illegal Alien Racing. This is a 12-lap final in Rental Kart League Racing. I am starting in 10th. That's where I finished in the pre-final, and I think also qualified in 10th as well. Green flag, here we go. A little bit of a gap opens up, but that's okay. It gives us more of a chance to survive turn 1. We're going to gauge the speed of our kart here. Kart 7 I know is a very fast kart. That is Chris and Kart 23. We don't seem to be gaining on them, but it's still early, so we will see. And entering stage left right now is number 16, Juan. He bought my Sodi VLR 100 kart, so I will not spin him out. Instead, I'll look to the bottom here and try to take the spot. Trying to be more aggressive this time around compared to the pre-final. Just didn't go very well, and so far this race is not going very well for me on this opening lap. I just seem like I'm getting past a lot more than challenging for positions, so that's not good. That's AJ and kart number 11 just ahead. Watch Juan take the very gradual defensive line. He needs to be a little bit more deliberate with that. It's technically against the rules, and right there, spun out for the second final race in a row is Joe. I know he's really frustrated with the racing here, and I don't blame him. So it is pretty rough at times. Oh man, this is going awful for me. Just getting past. Hey, you can go ahead too, kart number 13. I'm gonna settle in here, stop the bleeding. A little bump on 13, not intentional. They go wide, both him and 31. I go back underneath them. So we're going to settle in behind kart 17 here. Kart 13 is clearly faster than my kart. I know kart 11, the guy in the blue shirt, 2 ahead of me. That kart's not very fast. Probably equal to mine or maybe even a little bit slower. So I'm in a fight here. Get back in a 12th spot. Let's watch the group of 3 in front. So again, kart number 11, the very front, not a very fast kart, but AJ's pretty good driver. And then kart 17, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I apologize. He does have a YouTube channel. I'm really bad with names. I apologize. What's up, man? I know who you are. Pretty fast kart 17, and then kart 13 is the fastest kart of our little group here, but not doing himself any favors by going off track. So let's see how they navigate trying to get around a slower kart 11 that is doing everything he can do to keep his position. Oh, and by the way, we have a complete debacle with the flagman here in a few laps, so you'll hear what that was like and see what that's like. There goes 17 around number 11. 13 should stay behind 17 instead. Tries to set him up to go around himself. They're about 3 wide right here. 13 should be on 17's rear bumper, pushing him past number 11. It looks like it's going to work out for him, but right here he's out of position. So 17's going to go back underneath as he takes the high line, and it does not work out for him. He ends up behind those 2 guys, and then he has to deal with me, Illegal Alien Racing, coming in on the bottom here, fighting for his spots. I'm speaking in the third person. I don't know why, but I was. I've got nowhere to go. I'll just bump 17 and stay in line. So kart 13, like I said, should have hung out behind 17. Just pick the guys off one by one. That's easier said than done. I've been in that position before where I've had a faster kart than other people. You don't want to hang out behind them too often, or too long rather, because you're just wasting time, it feels like, at least. But what's even worse than that is what's happened in the kart 13. How many times has he passed me this race? A few times. He has to try to pass me again and make the same passes again that he's already done. Right there, I get a little bump from the back. I look to my left. I see kart 26. He gives me a fist bump. I give him a FU. Little bump in the cart right back. So I thought he's the one that bumped me. Turned out kart 13 was the one that bumped me, so I apologize. And 26 goes off-roading. Karts do not work very well off-road as they do on track. So kart 26, I'm sorry for the little FU bump right back. You didn't deserve that. That was Kart 13 that actually gave me the bump. So going back to what I was saying about Kart 13, when you make these passes, if you're in that position where you have a faster kart than other people, you want to go 1 for 1 on your passes. You don't want to go 1 for 3, meaning that, yeah, you passed them, but it took you 3 attempts to do it, because now you're really wasting time and holding yourself up. So here we're going to try to catch up those drivers ahead of me to try to advance my position. Things are not going very well. I do not have a fast kart. The track is really slippery. If you haven't watched these races before, the track here is stupid slippery. It's completely dry. You can see the shine reflection off the lights. Yes, it is that slippery. You can see us just drifting around most of the corners. I think karting on this track develops bad karting habits because you're having to drive these karts completely different than you normally would if the track had complete grip. And what I mean by that is you're turning a lot harder, like the steering wheel's going all the way to the left or all the way to the right. Sometimes you're popping the brake and locking the back tires up just a little bit, trying to get the kart to turn a little bit more in the right direction, because trying to turn with the steering wheel is just not working. You see how much there I turned really hard to the left. I would never do that if the track had 100% grip. I really hope that they figure out what's, how to fix this track and fix it. It's not that they don't want to, I just don't know what's going on, and that's all I'm going to say about that. It's not my track, and I'm not the one paying for it. But as a racer of the track, I'm not a fan of the how slick it is. I do love the layout going in this direction versus the opposite direction that we started going in when we first started racing this track. So right there I'm pointing to Sosa, who's behind me, saying, hey, let's line up, let's catch these guys. So it's working out a little bit. Kart 11 seems to be taking some defensive lines, which is slowing himself down because his entries and exits are not ideal to what he wants. And Kart 17 is having a very tough time trying to get around Kart 11. Again, you want to go 1 for 1 on these passes. You don't want to go 1 for 2 or 1 for 3. So you see 11 taking a defensive line. Now he takes more of a regular line because he's got enough room to do so. Get a little bump there from Sosa. A little thumbs up, say thank you. But just, you can see how much faster Kart 17 is compared to mine. And I really screw that up right there. Sosa goes around me. Go ahead, I'm not mad at you. You're faster, let's go. But then he turns around and screws up. And he's screwing up our little let's work together situation I want to develop. So I say, hey man, get behind me and just follow me. You had your chance. I don't know who else is back there. You see him taking a defensive line right there. And you see 17 kind of takes the bait and sets him up for an over-under, but he's out of position here because the next one's a left-hand hairpin. So I don't know that you want to go for that move there. It didn't work out. You're kind of wasting time. I'd rather set him up and try to pass him here or something. Just something a little bit more favorable. Again, you can tell how slippery the track is by how much we move around. Oh, this sucks. Being stuck in like 10th, 11th, 12th spot, just mid-pack. And you don't have the kart to do anything with. Like, getting 9th place is probably the best I could hope for. But that's going to be tough because this kart's just not very good. So yeah, this is the kart lottery. A lot of it is, because I've seen, okay, look on the left right there, you see the flagman? He has 2 rolled up flags and he puts them in a cross. That means we're halfway through the race. So we're good. Let's keep going. I think I was talking about kart lottery. It's kart lottery here. If you get a good kart, you'll probably do pretty well. If you can qualify fast enough to get into the pre-final, which is the top 20 fast drivers. If one of those drivers gets a good kart, you're probably going to do really well in the final. And sometimes really good drivers get really bad karts and they end up in the LCQ. So I've seen it work, the opposite way in a bad way. So Justin is ahead of me in 2nd spot. So he's going to start seeing the flagman and seeing all the flags at the start-finish line before I am. And we're talking on the radio, so he's going to relay that information to me because we're just talking as this race is going. I see a flag being waved. Here's Justin.
Oh, white flag?
No, that's a caution, isn't it?
I don't know.
There's no way it's the white flag already.
It's like a white flag, which doesn't make sense. It was just halfway.
So he's right. We just got the halfway to go. This next time around, now we're getting a caution or a white flag. It looked like a caution flag to me, but I was still pretty far away. But I saw him waving some lighter, clear flag. We're going to come around and see what he's doing. What?
White flag?
There's no way it's a white flag.
Yeah, this is short.
There's no way. So yeah, there's no way that we have one lap left, and there goes Sosa, let him around. And that's really bad information. Like, we're being told this is the last lap, so you should see a lot of fighting here and making moves that you probably wouldn't make if we were just past halfway. So we don't know what the hell's going on with the flagman. Right here, I gotta be real careful not to get underneath Sosa and spin him out. Look to my left, right there. You see a cart trying to nose in there, cart 13. It shouldn't be down there. It's way too low. You're not gonna make that turn. So if I see someone down there, doesn't matter who it is, I'm gonna hold them down there as long as I can and screw up their line going into the next corner. He does a smart thing though. He backs off and gets back and gets a better line.
Now it's halfway. 2 to go.
What? 2 to go.
That's not confusing at all.
Yeah, I don't know. You hear more confusion there. Justin seeing, again, going to start-finish line. Oh, it's getting worse here. Here comes number 9 out of nowhere. And here comes 14. Oh, man, this really sucks. Now I'm back to 15th spot. Come around the start-finish line, and let's see what the hell's going on. Okay, now we're getting, again, halfway to go. So we get halfway to go. Next lap, we get white flag. Next lap, halfway to go. What the hell are you guys doing, man? It's better to throw no flags than to throw the wrong ones. I don't know what's going on. That needs to get fixed. That's just stupid. Big group of carts just ahead. A lot of fighting. Looks like Sosa got through, so he'll be long gone. Good for him. I get in the cart 9 here on accident and cause a little bit of an issue. Sorry about this in advance. I'm trying to straighten him out right there, his nose, and he finally gives up and hits the brakes and finishes the spin. If I would have backed out there and hit the brakes, he probably would have, because he was full turn to the right, he probably would have whipped around and spun anyways, but at least he'd have been facing the correct direction. But that wasn't intentional, and I'm sorry about that cart number 9. I don't like to race that way. It's just kind of unexpected. And again, on a slippery track, this crap happens. You don't usually get it that bad on a grippy track. Now the sister track, facing the same direction but across the way here, the south track, that track has normal grip, good track. It's just something happened during the construction process on this one, and we ended up with a slippery track. So you see 11 kind of screw up. I'm going to try to catch him. We have a few laps here. I'm going to talk about one thing too that kind of came up, and that's weight. In order for you to race in this class, you plus whatever equipment you bring into the cart, like your helmet, your gloves, you have to weigh 191 pounds or more, or you can't race. And sometimes other drivers will ask a driver that appears kind of on the lighter side visually to weigh, and sometimes people get upset by that. And they're like, well, they already weighed me. Like, well, we don't know that, because DKC does not do a good job of making it public on who's been weighed and who hasn't. So given that we've seen a lot of people get into our races that have no business getting into our races because they're too light, if we see someone, another driver sees someone that appears visually to be around the 190 pound range or even lower, they have every right to tell you to ask you to get on the scale, and you have to weigh in front of them. I don't have a problem with that. Some people do have a problem with that, but given that people have cheated and raced in this class here that have been underweight by 5 to 10 pounds and no one checked up on them, we kind of have to police ourselves. Now we're getting 2 to go, and that's actually correct. So we have to police ourselves. So if you get offended that you're asked to be weighed, that's just the way it is here. Sorry about it. Eat a cheeseburger, get fat, and because we're not going to ask a person that's 6'3", big guy to weigh, because we know that they're going to make weight. Right here, Kart 11 is going defensive, so I'm going to try to set him up for an over-under again. I just don't have the cart to really bite out of the corners. He goes defensive again. We're going to try to set him up. It's going to be a little bit of a problem here trying to clear him, so I'm going to try to clear him wide to get momentum, which that does work. If he swung up to the top, I was going to go to the bottom. But that worked pretty well. So now this is the fight for 12th spot. I don't know what spot I'm in at this point, but this is as good as it's going to get. I really suck coming out of that corner, apparently. Like, you see, people just catch me pretty well, pretty easy, exiting that corner. Here he comes on the bottom. Like, oh, here we go. How about a little fist bump? He goes, okay. He doesn't seem too enthused. I'm going to back off here, let him slide up the track, and go right underneath him for the last lap, the real last lap. So it is possible to race each other in rental carts and not touch, or not touch very much. For those of you that like to beat and bang to excess, you can actually race pretty clean. And I like racing with the HA. He's a respectful racer. He knows how to drive, and he makes good passes. And as I say that, here's one of them. Caught me completely off guard and made an excellent pass. Very nice. He goes defensive here. Not good for him. Lets me get a run on him. And right here I'm looking, and I'm just going to go to the bottom this time because he went to the outside. Drag race into this corner. Now I'll get that key bump right there behind me. If I didn't get that, I don't know that I would have been able to make the move, but I did get it. Got a little help from 14. Thank you, 14. And I made the pass. So good racing with cart number 11 there. Last 2 laps or so. Really enjoyed it. He's a clean racer. He's just in a bad cart, same as me. We could do a lot better if we had something better. You see how much he's sliding there. They're coming down for the final corner. We're going to bring it home. We're going to end the misery. We should see the checkered flag. Race till the checkered, doesn't matter what you get before. And this one is finished. Pretty frustrating, but again, you have nights like this. And I certainly did on this night. Thanks for watching. And if you have any comments, as always, leave them below. And we will see you in the next race or in the next video. You guys have a good one.